What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and today I've got a pretty funny story time that was sent in to me about this kid that was trying to flex on everybody with all this money, only to get exposed for most of the money being fake. I just thought it was a pretty funny situation y'all would find entertaining. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Alright, so the person who sent this in to me is in college, which is usually when the cringe stuff is supposed to stop. I understand that like most people in middle school, high school want to look cool, they want to fit in, so whatever, people might exaggerate, post a picture with their mom's money. It's still cringe, I'm not saying it's not cringe, but it's a little bit more understandable. If you're still fake flexing on everybody when you're in college, that's when it hits the point of like insanely cringe, at least in my opinion. You're supposed to be figuring it out for real right now. You're not supposed to be trying to convince people that your fake Yeezys are real. But, you know, this person was in a class with a guy who constantly was bragging about how he made all this money, and he didn't really have to care or try in school because he was already rich. Which, I mean, if that's true, good for you. If you don't have to go to college, congratulations. But if you're really as rich as you say you are, then sitting in college also seems like a giant waste of time. I'm just saying, and everyone would just get annoyed because he would flex for no reason. Obviously, I don't think there's many good reasons to be flexing on a bunch of strangers, but it wasn't as if randomly the conversation of how much money everybody had was brought up and then everybody started talking about how much money they had and he just naturally said it. They would be like talking about something in history class. So George Washington crossing the Delaware or whatever. Yo, Delaware's his bag though. I got a lot of money. Like that type of stuff. That's kind of good one. Delaware's his bag. I'm patting myself on the back. He was just constantly bringing it up, and it was really, really obnoxious. And one of the things that he would do to prove how rich he is he would open his backpack and like flash cash, and he would have stacks of money in his backpack, and he claimed he always had 100 grand in his backpack, which I've never understood because I feel like everybody that actually has 100 grand in a backpack money, like anyone who actually it just makes sense to keep 100 grand on them, wouldn't keep it in a backpack. And also, if you have 100 grand in your backpack, it seems really, really dumb in my opinion to tell everyone that you have 100 grand in your backpack. You might as well just stick a piece of paper on your back, tape on it that says, "Don't rob me, but if you do, I have 100 grand. Like, you're just putting a target on yourself. I'm not saying I would rob you, bro. I'm not gonna rob anyone. That being said, if you keep running around going, "I have $100,000 in my backpack," you can't be surprised Pikachu when someone tries to take your backpack. That's probably one of those things you want to keep to yourself. I don't know. I feel like there's no reason to also carry that much cash in a backpack. What do you buy a car for lunch every day? Give me 3 reasons you would ever need that much cash in a backpack. But he would also never let anyone get a very good look at the stack of money, which the subscriber thought was a little weird, you know? He would always just open the backpack and you would see $100 bill with a rubber band around it and like a stack of money, but you could never really see if the stack of money was all $100 bills, if it was a bunch of ones, whatever. Anyways, he would do this pretty often and everyone just started to get fed up with it and annoyed, and like whenever he would bring it up and try to be talking about how much money he has, everyone would just kind of roll their eyes and be like, "We get it, man, you have a lot of money." And that's when he started to get a little bit more brazen with how he would like flash these stacks of cash. It was almost as if he could tell people weren't as impressed with it anymore, but he wasn't smart enough to figure out like the last 10%, which was why they weren't impressed, which was no one cares. Instead, he was just like, "Oh, they've gotten used to how I flex now, so I just need to become more obnoxious with how I flash my money, because if I just flash my money more obnoxiously, then they'll think it's really cool again." I'm not sure why that's the conclusion he came to, but he started saying that he now had $250,000 in cash with him at all times. Once again, don't know why you would really advertise that, but he would open his backpack and now the money in the backpack was kind of coming out of the backpack, and sure enough, it was the top was a $100 bill and there was a rubber band around it. And it wasn't that the person who sent this to me was trying to prove that the guy was using fake money. But when he would show the stacks, it was just very obvious that like the paper underneath that $100 bill looked a little bit different. And one day he pointed it out to him and the guy got insanely defensive. He was like, hey man, why does all the paper in that stack look different? And he starts going off about how obviously the subscriber is broke and has never held a lot of money in his life because $1 bills look different than $100 bills and he's a moron. And, you know, money looks different. These aren't all $100 bills. He has some 20s and 10s in there. And apparently the government uses different paper for each one to distinguish them and make it impossible to fake it, which is just not true. There are some differences between the dollars, but the government isn't using like different paper for each one to the point where it looks different. Yes, does a $100 bill look different than a $1 bill? Yeah, it has a little bit more anti-counterfeit measures, but you guys get what I'm saying. If you put like a $10 bill and a $1 bill on top of each other and then show it to somebody where they can't see and say which one's which, they're not going to be able to tell. And it was just weird how defensive he got. Like, if it actually was real money, you think the thing you would do in that situation is take the rubber band off and show them it's real money. You know, I just wouldn't be carrying a bunch of cash in my backpack anyways, and I definitely wouldn't be telling everyone that I have a bunch of cash in my backpack. I don't know why you would want everyone to know that you've got all this money on you. I've said that enough, but it just blows my mind you would want to tell people that you have a lot of cash on you. And so the guy was like, all right, bro, all right, like, relax. He got insanely mad, but he just wouldn't let it go. He's like, you're an idiot. You clearly have never been around a lot of money. You have no idea what's going on. And little did he know, the subscriber worked for an armored car company that would go and take cash deliveries. So not only did he kind of have a good idea of what money looked like, but the fact that he's calling him a moron who must have never been around money before when it was literally part of this guy's job to be taking like hundreds of thousands of dollars from different locations to the place where they drop it off. He just thought it was funny. And so he's like, all right, man, all right, my bad. Once again, trying to drop it. But the guy from that point on really didn't like him. And he just kind of was going to let it slide. He was never going to call him out and try to expose him in front of everybody. But from then on, every time this guy would flex, he would make it a point to be like, I know that guy's really jealous because he's broke. And point at him and try to be like, yeah, see, he's dumb and broke and da-da-da-da-da, and that's why he's such a hater. And it got to the point where he was just kind of waiting for the chance to make him look stupid and point out that there was a pretty good chance that this money was fake. And finally, he got the opportunity when one day there was a situation in class where the teacher had brought up something about how like government debt, da-da-da-da-da, and this guy starts talking about, you know, he could probably get the government out of debt because he's so rich. And I think that makes me know that this guy's never been around money before, bro, because even if you are like rich, let's say hypothetically you're a multimillionaire, you're in the top 1%, you're doing well. We're like $17 trillion in debt, bro. I don't really think that, like, even if you are rich, you're going to be able to do a whole lot. Kudos to you if you want to go ahead and eliminate the national debt. I'm sure the country will be very grateful, but chances are you're not that rich. And he takes out his money, and he's holding two big bricks of money in his hands, and he's holding them up to his ears like it's a telephone. And he starts pretending that he's having a call with the president saying, yeah, do you need my money? Which I'm not going to lie is kind of funny. Like, oh, hello, Mr. President, do you need my money? But this time the teacher goes, okay, put it down, like this is not what class is about. And he stands up and tries to get mouthy with the teacher about, you think you can tell me what to do with all these bands? Which, yes, even if you are rich, I think the teacher is in charge of the classroom. I don't think that magically changes anything. The teacher's just going to look at him. Bro, you're right. Forget my class that you're paying money for. You have a lot of money. But when he does it, he like hits his knee on the desk when he pops up, and the money plops out of his hand. And it's such a big brick of money that there's a few different like rubber bands around it, and then a bigger rubber band with the rubber banded money. Well, the big rubber band pops, and when that happens, they kind of fling everywhere. And everyone's watching this happen, and he immediately screams, no one touch my money. But the subscriber just puts his foot on like one of the small stacks and slides it under his desk, and he's not going to steal it. I want to make that clear. He made it very clear that if it was really would have 100% given it back to him, said he missed one, but he just wanted to look. He was just curious. And so the guy picks them all up and he's counting, and he clearly doesn't know how much money was like in his hands because he says, okay, that's all of it. He doesn't even notice that there's one missing. And he sits back down and the teacher gives him a little bit of a talking to, or the professor, excuse me, being like, you know, this is college. This isn't high school anymore. No one cares about your money, da-da-da-da-da. And he's just kind of acting all arrogant, like, yeah, people who don't have money say they don't care about money, just like being annoying. Listen, I'm not saying money isn't cool. Like, money can buy cool things. Trust me, I would rather drive a Lamborghini than a Toyota if I have the choice. I would rather have, you know, an iPhone than a flip phone. Like, there are certain things that money is cool for, but to say that it's like the only thing that matters, or that it gives you special privileges to just interrupt a class, is pretty stupid. Anyways, while they're going back and forth, the kid who's trying to flex isn't paying attention, and so he takes it and he like unbands the first $100 bill off, and he takes it off, and sure enough, he starts looking. And the money underneath the $100 bill in this stack has like the motion picture use, not real money written on it. And immediately he starts laughing. And it's while this guy's arguing with the teacher, and the guy looks over and is like, what's so funny, bro? And that's when he sees on the desk that the guy has a stack of the money and the $100 bill is off. And immediately he just starts freaking out. That guy's trying to steal my money, man. Why do you think it's funny to be touching my money? I don't think it's funny that your hands are on my money. It's kind of funny his hands are on your money, bro. And you're starting to sound like Dr. Seuss. But whatever, he starts freaking out, trying to insinuate that this guy's trying to rob him. So the subscriber takes this chance to show everybody the truth, and he stands up and goes, you know how this guy's been flexing this money, saying that he doesn't need to care about school, da-da-da-da-da. I don't know if he's counted it or not, but apparently the only thing it's good for is shopping if you live in a movie. And he shows everybody that it says motion pictures made in America, blah, 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 whatever. And everybody starts laughing, being like, dude, it's fake money. And now he's pissed and he's screaming, give me my money back, give me my money back. And he starts running over and trying to take it out of the subscriber's hands. And the subscriber, once again, was not trying to flex too hard. He just got blessed genetically. Happens to be insanely tall. Like, I'm talking above 6'5", which is just insanely tall. And the guy who was always flexing the money was probably about 5'8", 5'9", like standard size. And so he just lifts his arm straight up into the air with this fake money in it and goes, look at the fake money, look at the fake money. And he's laughing. Meanwhile, the guy that just got exposed for flexing the fake money is literally got his hand straight up, jumping, like trying to grab the money out of his hands, like, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Except he's mad while he's doing it. And he's like, give it to me now. And everyone's laughing. And finally, the professor is like, that's enough. Give it back to him. And so the subscriber, not wanting to disrespect the teacher, is like, all right, I'll give it back to him. So he hands it to him. And the kid's like, that is not funny. You tried to steal my money. And he's like, bro, we all saw that it's fake money. Like, come on. We all know all the money in the backpack is fake. And he's like, no, it's not fake. This is the fake money. And I use the fake money when I pull it out of my backpack. But there is real money in the backpack. And at that point, even the professor has had enough. And he's like, okay, well then prove the money in your backpack's real, because we're all tired of this. And I don't really know if that's against the rules. I don't know if they're allowed to do that. But either way, if I was in his shoes, I'd want to do the same too. Like, this has interrupted my class enough. Either put up or shut up. You're either rich or you're not. You got to prove it, or like never bring it up again, dude. And even if you are rich, no one cares, man. I swear, dude. Like, I don't care if you're worth $1 billion. I don't care if you're worth $30. If you suck, you suck. Like, it just is what it is. You can be rich, bro. You can't buy a different personality. That's the reality of the situation. I actually have $8 million, but I also hate the sound of fun. Like, okay, who cares? But he gets pissed off with the teacher and is like, I don't have to prove anything to you. You have no authority over me, so I don't have to do anything. And the teacher's like, you're right, you don't have to prove it, but if you're not going to prove it, then I don't want to hear about it in my class anymore. And the guy's like, you know what? I don't have to listen to this stuff. I don't even have to be at this school. I've got the money. Like, I don't even need to be here. And he grabs his backpack full of the fake money and starts walking out the door. And on the way out, someone in the class just yells out like, we all know it's fake, bro. And everybody starts laughing because, let's be honest, everyone in this class knows it's fake now. In his mind, he's like, all right, if I storm out of here, everyone will think that I'm actually super pissed off. And maybe a few of them will still think that I'm like super wealthy. But everyone in the class already didn't believe him because he was just constantly carrying around a backpack with $250,000 in it. Woo, that's such a smart idea. But he's storming out, and now he's just embarrassed because I think he probably realized that no one believed him in the first place. But he turned around and said that everyone in this class was haters, and they were really going to regret talking to him like that when they saw him on TV one day, and how, they just underestimated the skills of him at a young age. And listen, bro, for your sake, I hope you end up on TV. You're going to be the richest, most famous dude ever. But even if you're on TV one day, are you really going to sit there and tell whoever's interviewing you, yeah, I actually used to love to go places with a backpack full of fake money and flex on everyone? Like, either way, that still was what you were doing. Sorry. Like, even if one day you're really successful, the cringe is still there. And everyone's done cringe things. I'm not saying it, makes you irredeemable forever. It's just kind of a weird thing to say when you also are still cringe in the situation. I also love him being like, I'm so rich, I don't need this. I don't need to be at college at all. This is all dumb. And then why are you doing this? College isn't cheap. You know what I'm saying? You're in a college class, but you don't have to do it. You just want to do it. I've heard of people going back to college if they have a super successful business or something. I'm never going to hate anyone for getting educated, but I also feel like those people wouldn't be rolling around saying they don't care about it. Because why are you paying for it if you don't care? College just is a little too expensive to just be doing willy-nilly if you don't want to be there. I don't know. Maybe he really is just the richest person on the planet. He gets $100 every time he tells someone he's rich. That's why he's doing it all the time or something. Either way, he leaves. And you think he would never have the balls to come back to that class. I feel like if you have a freak out like this, your only option is to just move to a different country, change your names, wear a fake mustache everywhere you go. And I'd prefer it if you change your name to something funny. If you are going to go with a fake alias, you might as well go as funny as possible. It's an alias you're going to have to use for the rest of your life. So you got to do something silly like Super Rich Boy. Richie Rich? For him, because he's so embarrassed, he probably would not want to relive it. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to pick your secret identity. That kind of defeats the whole purpose, but I think it'd be funnier if it's something that makes you ashamed of what you're changing your name for. Anyways, the next class, there's someone in class that apparently is not the kid who used to bring the backpack full of fake money, but there's someone who looks just like him in a hat and sunglasses in the class, and he's just ignoring everyone that says that guy's name. And then someone's like, who are you? And he goes, oh, I'm new. I just transferred in. The guy is pretending to be in a disguise and be someone different. And whatever, after that, everyone just dropped it, mainly because they didn't want to argue with this crazy dude. So they just let it slide. He was in the class, but the next time the class comes around, he walks in without the disguise on, so everyone's going to know it's him. And everyone's sitting there and da-da-da-da-da. The teacher leaves for a second to go do something, and somebody decides to mess with him a little bit and goes, where were you last class? We missed you. Thinking he would be a little embarrassed or something because he came in a disguise, but instead the guy just looks at him and goes, what are you talking about? And the person who asked him just kind of asks him again, well, where were you last week? You were supposed to be in class and you weren't here. We missed you. And the guy, straight-faced, goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never met you guys before. And they're like, dude, come on. We've literally been in class this entire year together. And he says that it's the first day that he's been in this class because he just transferred to this college. And everyone in the class is really confused because this is 100% the guy that used to fake flex the money, whatever. I'm trying to talk in English here. But they know it's him, but he's just denying that he's ever met them before and saying he just transferred in. So they ask him, well, what about last week with the money? And he looks at them confused and is like, what do you mean a couple weeks ago with the money? What do you mean last week with the money? And they're like, yeah, you used to carry this backpack of cash with you and it ended up being fake. And he's just looking like none of this has ever been presented to him before, as if he really has no clue what's going on. He's genuinely seeming confused. And he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never done that. And somebody calls him out at that point, and they're like, dude, come on. We know it's you. You can't gaslight us into thinking that didn't happen. And he goes, no, I'm not trying to gaslight you. You probably just have me confused because I have a twin brother. And everyone's like, what? And he says, yes, I transferred here. My evil twin brother transferred to my school. He's a big jerk, super arrogant. He actually carries a backpack of fake money. I think that's what you're talking about. And everyone's looking at this guy like he can't actually think that we're stupid enough to believe this, right? It's one thing to come in a disguise. You were already insulting your classmates' intelligence if you think that you can do the good old Captain America disguise, put on a hat and sunglasses sunglasses, and everyone is just magically, oh, who is that? Goodness gracious. Can I just talk about that for a second, bro? I can't remember which Marvel movie, but there's one where Captain America, the super soldier who's like 6'7", 300 pounds of pure muscle, is walking around and no one recognizes him because he has a baseball hat on. Like, all right, man, I don't know how realistic that is. Apparently this guy watched that movie and thought that was the greatest idea ever. But when that didn't work, he just decided to go the whole evil twin route. But he's really sticking to it. And he's like, no, I have an evil twin who, is really arrogant and we switched colleges. And everyone just tells him straight up, like, we don't believe you. We know it's you. Come on. Like, how dumb do you think we are? But he doubles down and is like, I don't think you guys are dumb. Trust me. I'm so sorry if my brother did anything to upset you or make you guys feel bad, but I'm not my twin. And listen, like, it doesn't matter how hard you're gonna pretend that you are a different person. Everyone knows it's you. Because you would think if this guy's always flexing, he would have mentioned his twin at some point. That's something to flex. Seriously, though, like, it was just obvious that he was pretending. But whatever, the teacher walks in and he goes, oh, nice to meet you, sir, and tries to introduce himself, and the teacher is confused. So the class catches him up to date. Apparently, he just transferred in here because his evil twin switched colleges with him, and his evil twin is the one who flexed the money. And the professor is like, well, that's weird because I don't have any new names on my roster, and I'm pretty sure the computer system would have put you on here. But your evil twin brother's name is still here. And he gets this weird look on his face. And you would think that, like, all right, he's getting a weird look. The teacher's saying his name's not on the roster. He's going to have to come clean. There's no way he's going to commit to just pretending to be his imaginary twin brother much longer. But he looks at the teacher and is like, wow, that's weird. It sure is bizarre. Maybe it'll get patched before the next class. Just make sure you mark down that I was here. And he goes and he sits down. And for the rest of the class, he keeps up the act that he has an evil twin brother and he has no clue what anyone is talking about, which is nuts. But I have to give him credit for the follow through because it's not just that class. Everyone would mess with him every class, but for the rest of the year, he just said that he was not that guy and he was his twin and he didn't know why everyone was so insistent that it was not him. And to give even more proof that it just wasn't his twin brother, because I know someone's going to be like, what if it was his twin brother? The other guy kept posting on social media from this college, and they could never find his brother's account. Which, I mean, if you're going to commit to pretending to be your twin brother, at least make the fake Instagram for it. But whatever, it was very evident to everyone. It was just the pure shame of it that probably made him commit to just pretending to be his twin. After all the dumb stuff he said and the fake money, he probably was just like, I have to change my name. Anyways, guys, I just thought this story was hilarious. I thought you guys would enjoy it. If you did, I would really appreciate y'all taking a second to press the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on those notifications. It really helps the video do better, and I would appreciate it. And if you like the story times, but you don't like the gameplay, you want to listen offline, I do post the audio versions over on Spotify. Feel free to go check that out. Link down below. And there's also going to be a link to a playlist I made for here on YouTube with some of my favorite story times of the year. So if you need something to listen to while you're gaming, doing chores, whatever, feel free to check that out. Link down below as well. On that note, I'm going to go buy a bunch of fake money, fill up a backpack with it, run onto a bus screaming, I'm just the Monopoly man, and then throw the fake money in the air and run off before everyone realizes it's fake. Ha 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 ha, get trolled. And if anyone does catch me, I'll just say, no, that was my evil twin brother. He opened up a wormhole and switched places with me, and everyone's obligated to believe it. On that note, though, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace. Wow, you made it to the end of the video. You know what? You deserve at least $80 billion. I'm not going to give it to you, but you can go get it. Now watch another video if you want.